Good day, students. Welcome to biology lesson. In our class today, we continue from where we stopped. And if you remember, we started a discussion on a topic, pests and diseases of crops. Pests and diseases of crops. And we said pests are organisms that cause harm both to crops and to other animals. And then we were able to look at crop pests. And in our last class, we started looking at animal pests. And we say animal pests include flies, ecto and endo parasites. And we say ectoparasites are those parasites that live on the body of other living things, feed and cause harm to them. While we say endoparasites are those parasites that live in the body of other organisms, feed and cause harm to them. And then in our previous class, we were able to look at lice and tsetse-fly. We looked at lice and tsetse-flies, their life cycle, and also their effects and control. And in our class today, we continue with other animal pests. And today we'll be considering the pest ticks. And ticks are ectoparasites of many animals, such as cattle, goats, sheep, and dogs, which feed on the blood of animals. So these ticks are ectoparasites. And remember, we say ectoparasites are parasites that live on. So they are external parasites. And they are commonly found in animals like cattle, goats, sheep, and dogs. And they feed on their blood and cause harm to them. And there are two types of ticks, namely soft-bodied ticks belonging to the family Argacidia and hard-bodied ticks belonging to the family Isodidia. So we have two types of ticks, the soft-bodied ticks and the hard-bodied ticks. And the soft-bodied ticks belong to the family Argacidia, and the hard-bodied ticks belongs to the family Isodidia. And then Bobbiphilus microplus is a hard-bodied tick which parasitize on cattle, horses, etc. So example of a hard-bodied tick is Bobbiphilus microplus. Bobbiphilus microplus is an example of hard-bodied tick, and its hosts mostly are cattle and horses. These are the animals that the parasite feeds on their blood. Life history of the tick. Life history of the tick. Remember, we said the tick is an ectoparasite of cattle, sheep, and goats. The matured female attaches itself to the skin of its host, such as cattle, horse, goats, or sheep, and sucks blood. The stomach becomes filled with blood. The matured male crawls about until he finds the female. Mating takes place. The male dies after mating. After fertilization, the female tick drops to the ground. It lays egg on the ground or crevices of stones. So you find out that once the female tick is matured, the female tick will walk about or crawl about to look for a host, a host passing by, which could be cattle, horse, goats, or sheep. And then it climbs the body of this host and attaches itself to it. And then it sucks the body of the blood of the host. And then we also find the male of this tick too, crawling about looking for a female to mate with. And once that happens, when the mating takes place, the male tick will fall down and is going to die. So the only function of the male tick is to mate with the female. And after that, the female will remain on the body of the host up until the eggs are fertilized. And then after the fertilization, the female falls down to the ground and she lays her egg on the ground on the crevices of stones. These eggs are hatched into larvae with 6 legs. These larvae become active and they climb the body of other hosts. They will go and attach themselves to blades of grasses. And when a host is passing by, they climb the body of that host also, and then attaches themselves to that host and suck blood from that host. And then once they suck blood, they pierce the skin of that host and suck the blood. The larvae will become fully fed with the blood. Then they drop down to the ground again. On the ground, the larvae develops into nymphs with 8 legs. So after sucking the blood and dropping on the ground, the larvae develops on the ground into nymph, and this nymph in this time now has 8 legs. The nymph crawls to the blade of grasses and waiting for another host. At this time, the nymph feeds on the blood of its host and drops to the ground again, where they mold into adults. The adult crawls to the blade of grasses and plants, and as the host animal passes and rubs its body against these leaves of grasses and plants, stick to it. So you see, the cycle keeps on going on in that manner. So the female attach herself to the body of the host, suck blood, meet the male there, mate. Eggs are fertilized on the body of the host, drop down, lays the egg. The egg hatch into larvae on the ground. The larvae now goes back to the body of, climbs, look for a grass around, attach itself. A grazing animal passing by, the larvae climbs the body of the animal, sucks blood, and then drop down, metamorphose into nymph. Nymph too attach itself to blade of grasses. A grazing animal passing by climbs the body of that animal, sucks blood, drops down, and become adult. And then the mature adult again will have to look for grazing pastures around, attach itself to it, and then when grazing animals are passing by, it climbs on the body of that grazing animal, sucks blood, her abdomen fills, gets a male to mate with, drop down, and lays her egg. So at each stage of the development, once that stage is completed, the next is that they have to look for a host on which, because remember we said they are parasites that feed and cause harm, so their major meal is the blood of their host. So once they climb the body of their host, pierce and suck blood, and drop down, the next stage of metamorphosis will result. This is the life cycle of the ticks. So in completion, the mature tick now has 8 legs, because the nymph has 6, the larvae has 6. When it becomes nymph, you have 8 legs. So that is the life cycle of the tick. Effect of ticks. Blood sucking of ticks causes irritation, resulting to restlessness and leading to loss of weight. Because of the blood sucking of these ticks on the animals, it causes irritation, and this results to restlessness and leading to loss of weight of the host. 2. Sucking spot develops sores on the skin, providing areas for disease infection. The part of the animal that is being pierced for the ticks to suck the blood forms sores, open sores. And these open sores now provide areas for infection of disease in the animal. 3. Sucking of blood results in loss of blood, and consequently the animal becomes anemic and weak. So because of the sucking of blood, the blood of the animal is being reduced, and that animal becomes anemic. The animal lost blood through the blood sucking of the tick. Number 4. The skin of the animal is destroyed, leading to poor height. So they destroy the skin of the animal because they have to pierce the skin of the animal, and that could result to poor height. 5. Ticks transmit disease such as red water fever, relapsing fever, East Coast fever, etc. So apart from the sucking of the blood, they transmit these diseases to the animal. Number 6. Infestation of young animal results to retarded growth. If the animal are young and they are being infested by these ticks, the animal will not grow as it should. Control. Keep environment clean. 1. Keep environment clean. 2. Physically remove ticks from the body of the animals. So you can physically handpick the ticks from the body of the animal. 3. Spray animal house with insecticides such as BHC or Malathion. 4. Dip infected animals into a solution of arsenic. And number 5. Rotation of the pasture and livestock. Livestock removed from the infected areas to uninfected areas. The larvae and nymphs will die of starvation due to lack of host. So once these livestock are removed from an infected area to a new area, the larvae and the host, the larvae will die because of, larvae and nymph will die because of because of starvation due to lack of their hosts. These are ways to control ticks. The next animal pest is liver fluke. The next animal pest to be considered is liver fluke, Fasciola hepatica. fasciola hepatica. That's the scientific name of liver fluke. Fasciola hepatica. And as the name implies, this one is an endoparasite. Endoparasite. Life history. The adult liver fluke live in the liver of cattle, sheep, and goats. These are the hosts of liver fluke. They live in the liver of cattle, sheep, and goats. It attains a length of about 3 cm. The female liver flukes lay eggs which are shed with urine or feces into a damp places or water. So once this female liver fluke is in the body of its host, the length is about 3 centimeters, and then you find out that this female liver fluke now will lay its egg, and these eggs are always covered or shaded with urine or feces, and you find them in damp places or in watery environment. The eggs then hatch into ciliated larvae called miracidia. The eggs of these liver flukes hatch into larvae, and these larvae have cilia, and these ciliated larvae are called miracidia. So the larvae of liver fluke is called miracidia, singular, miracidium. After about 14 days, the miracidia swims about, finding a suitable intermediate secondary host, that is the water snail, Limnia spp. So after about 14 days that is being lay in these damp places, this miracidium swims about in the water environment to look for an intermediate host, and usually the intermediate host of the miracidia is the water snail, which is called Limnia spp. That's the scientific name. When the miracidia comes in contact with the water snail, they penetrate the soft tissues. They develop into sporocysts. So you find out that once this miracidia finds their intermediate host, they swim and attach themselves to the body of these hosts, and then they penetrate the soft body part of this water snail, and they develop into what you call sporocysts. The sporocysts then develop into radiae. The radiae produce secaria, which burrows out of the tissues of the water snail into water and swims about for a short time and insists on aquatic vegetation. So you find out that from miracidia, it metamorphoses into sporocysts, from sporocysts into radiae, and these radiae also produce what you call secarias, and these secarias are the ones that burrows into the tissue of the water snail and swims about for a short time, and they form a cyst on aquatic plants that are found in that water environment. When a grazing animal such as cattle, sheep, and goats eat the grasses infected with the cysts are swallowed into the stomach of the grazing animal. The cysts are dissolved, and the secaria develops into adult young fluke. So these cysts are like coverings that this animal produced. So once this secaria now enters the body of the grazing animal, once they swallow it, you find out that these cysts will be broken down, and then you find out that the secaria develops into an adult young fluke. This young fluke then burrow through the walls of the stomach, small intestine, and body cavity to the liver and bile duct, where they settle as adult fluke. That's how they find their way into the liver of cattle, sheep, and goats. So you find out that this liver fluke now, we say it's an internal or it's an endoparasite of cattle, sheep, and goats. And then the life cycle, part of it is carried out outside, and then the remaining part is carried out in the body or inside the body of these animals. From larvae, from the eggs that are hatched in damp places which are shaded with urine and feces, to a ciliated larvae called miracidia. After 14 days, the miracidia will look for an intermediate host, which is the water snail, and then they attach themselves, and then they become or develop what you call sporocysts, and then the sporocysts develop into radiae, from radiae to secaria. Then these secaria are the ones that will form cysts, and then they will attach themselves to bodies of aquatic vegetation. So once these animals eat these secarias with cysts, the cysts are dissolved after they have swallowed the sporocysts, and then after that, after they swallow the secaria, and then the secaria will emerge and then change into or metamorphose into an adult fluke in the liver of the grazing animal. So we have the miracidia, we have the sporocyst, we also have the radiae, and then we have the secaria, and then we have the young adults. Effects of liver fluke. It damages the liver, resulting in loss of blood. The animal becomes anemic and death results if not treated. So the damages that are caused on the liver will result to anemic condition in the animal, reduction in red blood cells, and then this will result to death if the animal is not treated. 2. Loss of weight leading to poor meat production. The animal will emaciate and that will lead to poor meat production. Control. 1. Ducks that eat the intermediate host, water snail, should be introduced to pools and streams. This will deprive the miracidia of an intermediate host, water snail, and will eventually die within hours. So if we introduce ducks into water bodies like pools and streams, you find out that this water duck feeds on water snail. Duck feeds on water snail, and the water snail is the intermediate host. That means the animal, this parasite, cannot complete its life cycle without the water snail. So once water snail are fed on by duck, you find out that the intermediate hosts are absent, and the miracidia will eventually die before they get to the stage of the radiae, to the sporocyst, and then down to the secaria. 2. Pools and streams should be treated with copper sulfate solution to kill the miracidia and secaria. So pools and streams, these are the water bodies where this pest complete its life cycle, should be treated with copper sulfate solution to kill the miracidia and the secaria. 3. All water snail on the grazing grounds should be physically collected and destroyed. So on the grazing grounds of animals, water snails should be physically collected and destroyed because they are the intermediate host. 4. Supply clean drinking water to animals. The water that the animals drink should be clean so that to reduce infestation of liver fluke. 5. Consult a veterinary doctor to treat the infected animal. Once animals are infected with liver fluke, we should seek the attention of the veterinary doctor for the treatment of that infected animal. And below are our assignments. For each of these animal pests that we have discussed, first the tick and second the liver fluke, you are going to draw the diagram of the life cycle of these animal pests. So after you finish copying the note on ticks, the assignment is that you're going to draw the diagram of the life cycle of tick under the topic tick, and then when you get to liver fluke, you draw the life cycle of the liver fluke after the control of the liver fluke. Thank you and have a wonderful day. God bless you.